So, in the software world, you've probably heard the terms tester and QA thrown around like they're the same thing. But honestly, they're not. They represent two completely different ways of thinking about quality. And getting this difference isn't just about words. It's about how you grow your career from just finding problems to actually preventing them from ever happening.
Oh man, we've all heard this one, right? If you've been in tech for more than 5 minutes, you've felt the sting of this question. It's just loaded with frustration, and it points to a huge misunderstanding of where quality really comes from. See, this question isn't the problem itself. It's a symptom that something in the process is broken. And you know, that confusion? It has some pretty serious consequences. When your team thinks quality is just some checkbox at the very end, this is what you get. Bugs found way too late when they're super expensive to fix. You get this blame culture where everyone's pointing fingers instead of actually solving the problem. And for you, the person doing the work, it's a one-way ticket to burnout.
All right, so the real heart of the problem is this gap between what's on your job title and what it really takes to build a great product. So let's break that down.
Okay, check this out. It's actually super simple when you boil it down. Testing, that's an activity. It's a thing you do. You execute a check. You see if the button works. But quality assurance, or QA, that's a responsibility. It's a whole mindset that's focused on making sure the entire product is actually valuable to the user. One is a task, the other is a purpose.
So let's dig into what this actually looks like in terms of jobs. We're going to start with the foundation, with the tester.
Think of a tester as a verification expert. Seriously, they are the masters of the checklist. Their whole mission is to follow the plan, run the tests, and find anywhere the software doesn't do what the requirements say it should. Their core question is super precise and incredibly important. Does this do what we said it would do? And let me be clear, this role is absolutely essential. Now, a QA professional, on the other hand, is a quality advocate. They zoom out. Their goal isn't just finding bugs, it's defect prevention. They get involved way earlier, asking tough questions, looking for risks, and basically being the voice of the user in the room. The question completely changes from does it work to, yeah, but is this the right thing to build? Is this something our users will actually find valuable?
This table just lays it all out, side by side. You can see the shift in every single category, from when they get involved to what they focus on. But look, the most powerful change is right there at the bottom. The whole question evolves from a simple technical, is it broken, to a much bigger, user-focused one. Is this good enough for the user? That, right there, is the heart of the QA mindset.
Now, here's something that's really, really important. You don't just wake up one day and decide to be a QA professional. The whole journey starts with mastering the art and science of testing. This is the foundation you absolutely have to build on.
So, why is this so crucial? Well, think about it. You can't really assure quality if you don't have a deep, almost instinctual understanding of how things break. The act of testing builds this incredible mental toolkit for you. It forces you to have a sharp eye for detail, it teaches you all the common ways software can fail, and it gives you this gut-level feel for how the entire system works.
So, it all boils down to the super simple formula. It's not about being a tester or having a QA mindset. To become a true QA professional, you need both. You take those sharp, analytical skills of a great tester and you fuse them with that proactive, big-picture ownership of a quality advocate.
All right, so we've got the theory down, we have the formula, but what does this mindset shift actually look like day to day? Let's get into some real-world examples.
Let's get specific. How does this all play out when you're actually in the trenches, working on a feature, reporting a bug, or just sitting in a meeting?
Check this out. These are scenarios we all face every single day. The tester approach is all about execution. You follow the script. The QA approach is about strategy. You think beyond the script. And just look at the bug report. A tester says, hey, the button's broken. But the QA professional, they connect that bug to the impact. That's the game changer. They say, this broken button blocks our entire checkout process, so it's a critical issue. And this difference in thinking applies even if you can't see a single line of code. When a tester looks at the application, they might see screens and buttons, but someone with a QA mindset sees the invisible threads connecting everything. They see the entire user journey, how data is flowing through the system, and where the real risks are, way before anyone even starts testing.
Okay, so we get the mindset. Now let's put it all together and map out what this looks like as a tangible career path. Think of this as your roadmap for evolving from a tester into a true leader in quality.
Look, everyone starts somewhere, right? You begin by mastering the fundamentals as a manual tester.
Then you get really good at it, you become a strong black box tester who really gets the system. But step 3, that's the pivot. That's when you start injecting that QA mindset. You're questioning things, you're thinking ahead. And that's what gets you to that final step, where you become a QA engineer who truly owns quality for the whole team.
All right, let's lock in the big takeaways here. If you remember nothing else, remember this. Testing is the action. QA is the mindset. A tester asks, does it work? A QA professional asks, is it valuable and is it safe for our users? And for your career, it's simple. Testing skills, they'll get you hired. But that QA mindset, that's what gets you promoted. That's what builds a career.
And this brings us to the final thought I want to leave you with. Look, your company might call you a tester. Your email signature might say tester, but that's just a word. The real question, the one that actually matters, is what's your contribution going to be? Will you be someone who just executes checks, or will you be someone who owns quality? The choice? Well, that's completely up to you.